everybody. Welcome back to Artist Talk. So, as usual, I'm going to say I'm very excited about my guest today. I'm usually excited about my friends, but this particular friend I haven't seen in years except for Instagram. So I am excited to welcome one of the most talented singers I know in the world, Miss Shoshana Bean.
Someone needs you. Someone loves you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hi, sister.
Thank you. Hi, it's so good to see you. You were starting the intro and I got super emotional because I just associate you with such a precious time, and you were always such a source of peace and love, and you just are Mother Earth. And so just hearing you intro shot me back through time, and it's crazy. I'm happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. What was that time like back then? Because I tell you, when I see you now, first of all, I knew you were like a crazy singer person even back then. But when I see you now, you've just become this force. And so when I knew you way back when, what was that time like for you?
Oh man. Well, specifically within the Broadway Inspirational Voices, which is where I met you, I had expressed interest of being in the choir, and then all of a sudden my wish was granted. And it was I was talking to Eden about it the other day. I was like, girl, do you remember whenever I got into the choir, and I was like, yeah, I'm a soprano, but a soprano in the real world and a soprano in a gospel choir are two very different things. So I come into the soprano section and I'm like, this is the soprano. This is what sopranos do here. So it was like being thrown into the deep end. I had to discover an entirely new part of my voice. I had to discover an entirely new way of singing. It was incredible. And so I would say that those years, as much as you wouldn't think so, because I was out of college and now, living in New York and working in New York, those were formative years. I learned so much by being in that choir. How to be a musician, how to, just different styles and ways and techniques of singing, how to arrange. When I went on to make my own records, I remember I have Michael's fingerprints all over me for how things are arranged, and how you stack backups, and it was an invaluable education, not to mention being surrounded by some of the greatest singers and performers in our community, in our industry, and having a family. Some substantial life happened to me on a personal level when I was in the choir. So it was always a place to come and have support and love and heal and grieve through the work. So I still get super emotional anytime I see anyone from that chunk of time, specifically from the choir. So it was a tender, experimental growth spurt, formative chunk of time, to say the least.
You have sold out concerts and all these things, and yet you still make your way back to Broadway. You still sneak on in. What pulls you back?
I've only been pulled back successfully once, since it was since I was in the world of Broadway. So the first and only time I've come back since the olden days of 14, 15 years ago was just last year. I came back for Waitress, and I wish that it were a bigger, deeper answer, but the only reason I came back was because that offer of that role terrified me. It scared me. I just thought this is such a weird offer to come across the table. I don't see myself as this role. Somebody over on that side does. Let's go. Let's dive in. I learned quite a few years back to probably when I turned 40, I was looking back on the 40 years going when did that tenacious, fearless girl with so much to prove and so much thirst for experiences and success. And when did she like die, not die, but like where did she go? Like over the years, slowly, I felt like, as the industry can do and as life can do, the many paper cuts, I just was like, she's just like playing it super safe and being super scared. And when I turned 40, I was like, I have literally nothing else to lose. So so I just started moving towards the things that scared me, and waitress scared me. That role scared me. And so I went for it. It got more comfortable as I went, but you know, it's a very different world than from when I was on Broadway 15 years ago. There's unlimited ways where you can accidentally see or intentionally seek out people's opinions about what you're doing on stage every night. And there are certain shows of which I always seem to land myself inside of, where there have been multiple women playing the role, or, you know, people just have, they return again and again, and they have very strong opinions, and they love to rank people and say who's their favorite. And it's really hard, you know, to keep your focus and stay in your purpose and stay grounded and block out that noise. So I think it's I think as performers, it's a constant state of just pushing through fear, especially if you want to grow, especially if you want to expand. Like you're going to be in uncharted territory, which means it's going to be scary. You know, if it's not scary, then you're probably somewhere where it's familiar and comfortable, you know.
Have you suffered a lot of, I'm sure you must have, a lot of lost dates, concert dates?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the whole year went away. But, you know, it's been replaced with other weird things, you know, other sessions to do at home and other virtual shows. And like, you know, I have flown out once or twice for gigs. So it's, you know, we're all just sort of navigating new terrain and figuring it out. And what the great news is our industry just, I think we're used to just pivoting and making things work. We're used to feast or famine. We're used to, well, this didn't look like we thought it would. Let's figure something else out. You know, we're just, I feel like we're really good at that.
When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood to drown them out. I am brave and bruised. I'm who I'm meant to be. This is me.
I feel like that's just what I've been doing my whole life. So I'm like, this is no different. We just gotta keep being creative, keep making stuff up, keep making a place.
So you mentioned it, but when you were in New York and you were doing the Broadway thing and pursuing your theater career, was this always a goal to be Shoshana Bean, the recording artist, the solo artist? Was that always a goal?
Yeah, I think that was the original goal. Like that was real and still remains the thing that I feel like I haven't quite done. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like I left New York after Wicked because I was like, well, I can check this off the list. If I never do this again, I'll be okay because I just did that. Like I just felt like, you know, when you peek behind the curtain and you get the opportunity to have a dream come true, it doesn't always look and feel like you thought it would. Being the star of a Broadway show is hard work. It is all consuming. It is taxing. It is painful. It is frustrating. It can be. And my experience was that. It was a beautiful blessing. It was also like hard. And I was like, okay, good. Well, I came here. I did that. Like now on to check the next things off the list. And
No wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring me
from the early days listening to Whitney records, and then when Mariah came out, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to make people feel the way these singers make me feel. And so yeah, that's just that was the original goal. And theater just happened to be the access, because back in, you know, our youth, there was not reality shows. There was not, if there was Berklee College of Music, I certainly didn't know about it. There weren't like majors in pop. There weren't songwriting classes. There weren't recording, engineering, producing. I If there was, I didn't know about it. So the only way to go to college and continue to be able to perform and study in the arts was to go for musical theater. So that was the path I followed, and that was the trajectory that just kind of like popped off first. And yeah, I still feel like there's so much more I want to do and achieve in the realm of recording and touring. And
I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat. I wanna dance with somebody who loves me.
I put out an EP during quarantine, and calling it an EP is generous. It's just 3 songs, but I felt very strongly about being able to capture this moment of, because I didn't know at the time how long this was going to last. Turns out I think I have a little more time, but you know, at the time I just was like, I want to make something right now because I find my albums to always be just a snapshot of time, of a chunk of time in my life, and a representation of where I was at and who I was, because I think we're just changing and growing all the time. And so the EP was like, I just thought like, I want to do something really different, which for me, it means really stripped down and simple. Voraciously, I was consuming television and books and people's albums that were coming out. And I was like, I want to be able to contribute. I want to be able to make an offering. And yeah, just have a snapshot of the moment. I recorded all my vocals at home. You know, all the musicians recorded their stuff at home. We mixed in some kind of a program that we all logged into, and my cousin took the photo on the cover. Like, it was all really homegrown. And what was interesting about it was just like, all of this has been an education, and like all this stuff we think we need, you know, ordinarily for an album cover, there'd be a makeup artist and a hair stylist and a photographer, and it'd be a day and a thing. This was like in the backyard of a house we were staying in Central Oregon. You know what I mean? Yeah. One day before dinner. Like, so I don't know, it's just stripping away. And that's what this EP of 3 songs felt like, a really nice opportunity to strip away.
What would need to happen, in your opinion, for you to live out your Mariah Whitney dream?
I mean, the problem is like, as soon as it would come out of my mouth to say the earthly treasures that I so desire and set as my goals, I know that those things are not a measure for someone's talent or skill or worth or right to take up space on this planet. And I also know, because I have so many friends who are so wildly successful in that earthly treasure type of a way, that they're like, it doesn't fix what's broken. Like, it doesn't make me feel any more worthy of being in the room than you do. It doesn't make me feel better about who I am and how I view myself. We all just like, not we all, but a lot of us just don't like ourselves very much. You know what I mean? And we keep thinking that if we can get affirmation or confirmation from the outside via a huge paycheck, via a Grammy Award, via, you know, a hit song that you wrote with the hottest writer and producer that there is out there, that then I will finally know via these external sources that I am worth something. You know what I mean? It never turns out that way. You know what I mean? You would think that if I had gotten a lead in a Broadway show, I'd be like, I'm worth something. That's not the thing that does it. So I find it, I will feel silly to even say what those measures are, because they're in the process of being reframed. I think this time has forced a lot of us to sit with ourselves and like be uncomfortable and look at the things that I personally have kept myself so busy that I don't have to pay attention to. So yeah, all of that's being reframed. But yes, previously it has looked like Grammy Awards and sold out tours and the tour bus and like, you know, being able to do a duet with John Mayer and like, you know, but you know, I can look back on the things that I wanted so badly and then I got, and like, it's never enough. When you live like that, it's never going to be enough.
Yeah,
never.
I agree. John Mayer would be so lucky. But you know, I think that I would hope those things for you, mainly for the good of the world, not for you, not for it to make you better, but I think that, you know, your gift being shared all over would just bless a lot of people. So that's my hope for you.
That's the higher purpose, obviously. Whoever is meant to, you know, because I have friends who, I mean, I'd have the same conversation with a friend who's like, we're like, you know, making a video and we're making another record and like, we're just in the hole financially. We're not making any money. And I'm like, what if I told you you're never going to make money doing it? Are you going to stop doing it? Like, if 10 people hear it or 10,000 people hear it, does it really matter? The right people who need this and it finds them and they find it, like, isn't that what our purpose is in the first place? Like, so yes, I don't mean to sound superficial, but the measures, you know, I say like, I just want someone to be healed by this or changed by this. And, you know, sometimes you're lucky enough to get those kind of emails or direct messages where someone's like, just so you know, this saved me, or just so you know, this inspired me to whatever. And those are the nuggets that keep me going. And those are the gifts. And that's ultimately, when you boil it all down, why we do this, why we put ourselves through this. For the good of the whole, for the one life we might save, you know?
Yes. Now, you said something earlier that I'm still stuck on. When did you turn 40?
Oh God.
You said when I turned 40.
3
I'm
years
like,
ago.
No, Shoshana's still 22, right?
You think I'm still a baby. Yeah, I do that with the children as well. I'm always like, no, you stay where you are. I turned 43 years ago, so now that would make me 43.
So who are you listening to these days? Whose music is giving you what you need these days?
Weirdly, I don't listen to a lot of music, and I don't know why that is. I think I'm kind of like a binger, so like when something comes out, I listen to it nonstop until I'm not bored of it, but like I got what I needed from it, and then I don't. And I'm trying to keep it that way because I want to start writing now from a place of like not having outside input by listening to other stuff. It just kind of accidentally ends up on the tip of your tongue sometimes. But that Taylor Swift album was good medicine in the middle of all this. That would probably be my favorite thing that came out this year anyway. But mostly I just dig back through the old stuff, old Bonnie Raitt, back to Aretha, back to Stevie, back to, you know, no one can beat the classic. So and old 90s R&B. I am such a junkie for like the music of my teenage years, which was R&B, Jodeci and SWV and Mary J and Troop. Like,
we need to get you to do a versus.
You have to have a little bit more of a career to do a versus, but thank you. Bless you.
Now, I wonder who you would do versus with. You and Adina, I guess. I know.
Right. She'd smoke me. She'd smoke me right out of that room.
Oh, please. You don't know. You don't know do you have any regrets?
None. I mean, yes, but like, no, because it had to be that way. It has to be this way. Otherwise, it would have been another way. So do I wish I would not have quit dance? Yes. Do I wish I would have studied acting more strongly? Do I wish I would have maybe stayed in New York and kept pursuing Broadway to a greater extent? Maybe, yes, but who can say? I'll never know if those roads would have led to a better destination, or if I'd still just be here in Sun Valley, California, talking to you on Zoom, regardless of what different lefts or rights I took, you know?
Who were your arts heroes? Like what people that you can think of that really inspired you to keep going?
It's different people along the way. I think in college, growing up, it was Whitney, it was Mariah, it was Barbara Streisand, it was Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald. Then in college, studying musical theater, it was Alice Ripley, it was Billy Porter. And then through life, it's been the people that I'm surrounded by, to be honest with you. I'm lucky enough to be around, I learned how to be a Broadway principal by being around Marissa and Harvey and Hairspray. I learned how to arrange music and have a better ear by working with Michael and Mark Shaman. I learned how to be a better songwriter by diving into John Mayer, you know, and diving back into the music, like the Motown and the blues and the soul that I was raised on. So I think it's been different people at different points that all just sort of made up the tapestry. You know, now I find myself inspired by like my friends, by Cynthia, by, you know, Ben Platt. I mean,
I never trust a narcissist, but they love me. So I play him like a violin. I make it look oh so easy.
Of sort of the matriarchs and patriarchs of the family who've passed on, like this picture, I'll take it down. This is my grandma.
Oh.
And she was a singer. She was like a singer in the USO clubs during the war, and just ended up meeting my grandpa and getting pregnant and getting married and being a mother of 3 boys, and not really, I think she would like go down and drink a bit at the bar downtown and would sing with this restaurant downtown, and would sing with the piano player every once in a while. But she was really foundational for me. The music that she played in the house was like, you know, the greats. So she's represented here many times. Artwork from fans, like up there was a beautiful painting of me green. I got Tommy Smith, you know, revolutionary gold medal winner for the, I forget what he won for, but 68 Olympics. Yeah, family, friends, Elphaba moments. My first professional show, I did Sunday in the Park with George. It's all the way up top there.
Was
it's
that your first professional show?
Yeah, when I was 9, I played Louise in this production where I lived in Portland, Oregon. And the guy, this is like you know, the Georges, they sketch during the show, right? So this was one of his sketches one day that he signed for me and let me keep. So yeah, it's just the wall of love. I love it.
What keeps you up at night?
Oh, worrying about money. I mean, the same thing that keeps everyone up at night, right? Worrying about money, worrying about not accomplishing the things I want to accomplish, worrying about, can you please? She was like, worrying about, I don't know. I think it's hard to be a woman and get older. And then, you know, no one else really has to worry about time in that way, the way that women do. Not just how hard it is to age inside of the business, but like children. Like I didn't imagine I would be 43 and single and not have a kid. Like that just wasn't my life plan. That wasn't how I planned it. Now, obviously it is what it is. So it must have ultimately been the plan. But, you know, I worry about that because it's like some days I'll be like, yeah, it didn't turn out that way. But then I'm like, no. So yeah, just, I guess resistance keeps me up at night. Resisting what is, like not accepting what is, worrying that it needs to be different, and how do I change it?
How can we support you? How can we support everything you're doing?
My website is kind of the one-stop shop. So I'm trying to do at least one virtual show a month, just to stay connected and engaged with people. So there are shows every month. And yeah, I mean, the music is all on Spotify, and there's tons of merch, and I teach, I coach, performance coaching, audition coaching, whatever. So, whatever.
Wait a minute, you do?
However yeah.
I didn't, that's one part I didn't know. I thought I read everything. Did not know that, you guys. Those of you out there that's really trying to get into this, call her. DM her.
Call me. Yeah, it's on my website. All this stuff's on my website, but which is just shoshanabean.com. And come to the virtual shows because they're fun, and I think we could all use that kind of connection and that kind of healing through music together, even though it's like virtual,
Yeah. You're a blessing to us, lady. Thank you.
You are the blessing. Thank you for thinking of me. It's so good to see you. It does my heart so much good. I love you. You're like family to me.
And you're
despite all the years.
my 43-year-old baby. No.
Yeah.
Like, when did this happen?
I'll always be your baby. Always.
But you know, I was thinking when we started doing this series, and I was thinking I want to talk to people who inspire me, because I want to be a part of inspiring other artists who are either blocked, not sure, broke, feeling fearful, whatever it is. And so I wanted to really talk to people who inspire me, and you're one of those people. So
Well, I'm honored.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
honored. What a beautiful thing you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for your honesty.
Always.
Thank you, Shoshana Bean. It was so great to see you. You have not changed in all of these years. Still very beautiful inside and out. Still transparent. Still hoping for the best for everyone. And still singing your face off. When Shoshana and I spoke, Sing Your Hallelujah, we did not talk about. It was a few months ago. So I am excited to play a clip for you and to encourage you to tune in. It's streaming live on December 12th from the world famous Apollo Theater.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good girl.
All right. Do you mind if I sing in the car? Do you mind if I sing? Okay. This poor driver's gonna freak out. I don't think he knows what I meant. Hold on a second. Ew. I've never warmed up in my mask.
I feel like this year there's just been a lot of forced stripping away. None of us really anticipated that it would go on this long. So in building this show, you know, time constraints, budget constraints, obviously COVID protocol, it's revealed to me like what's actually important. So I've just been reminded so strongly this year that we do what we do because it's our give, it's our contribution, it's our purpose.
See you in a week.
As artists have been doing, we just keep finding ways to make it work, and I certainly wasn't gonna go down without a fight. There is a holy magic in that place. It's hallowed ground. You can feel the magic, you can feel the history, you can feel the spirits there. Go tell it on the mountain. You know, we may not have all the bells and whistles, we may not have the frosting, we may not have the things we used to think we needed, but we still have each other, we still have the spirit and the essence of the season, what it's supposed to be about. All the joy, all the fear,
Me too.
you can let go now. I think all I decided to do was bring together a bunch of people who I love and intend for that love and that joy and that connection and the message of the music to just burst through the screen. Someone needs you. And remind them who they are after a year of being like, I don't know who I am, where I fit, what I even do anymore. I'm just hoping that this will remind people how powerful they are, how special they are, how important they are. Yeah, with a little Christmas music. You know, 2020 has been a challenge, but we still, you can't take away Christmas.